Welcome to The Growth Equation. This isn't your typical business podcast. We're keeping it real about the challenges of scaling up, period. I'm Tristan Wright and I've been there. I've built and scaled my own business. I've sold it. I've learned a ton along the way. Now I'm bringing you the no BS stories of founders who are in the trenches right now, navigating that messy middle. We're talking advertising, marketing, design, creative, branding, the whole 9 yards. Doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or running a team of 100. Everyone's got a secret sauce, that thing that makes them different, better. We're going to uncover it. So grab a coffee and let's get real. Today we're talking to Maxim from Media Waffle. Mate, welcome.
Welcome. Good to be here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having the chat today. So we were talking just before about the fact that you're sitting inside on the Sunshine Coast. Well, you've got nice warm weather, and I'm in Melbourne and it's freezing and windy.
Yeah, I don't want to trade places. I'm glad I'm here, but I'm still inside working away, slaving away. Whether it's sun outside or not, I still got to get the work done.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about Media Waffle and how you got into business.
Yeah, so I finished business. I graduated from University of the Sunshine Coast in business because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet. So I thought business, I can always go into whatever I want. And then maybe 3 years later, I ended up working for a digital agency in Brisbane. And then it kind of just snowballed after that. I kind of just was managing like Facebook accounts and things like that. And then it just naturally progressed into running ads. Yeah, just, I worked for the agency for a while, but then I realized I was getting some jobs from friends that knew I was doing it, and back, if you go back 8-10 years ago, Facebook ads was like super new, no one was on it. It was still super cheap. So I kind of got into it then and just I've just kept doing it. Yeah, that's how Media Waffle came about. I just started to, doing contract work for businesses, whether it was e-commerce or lead generation. And just been doing that for about, 7 or 8 years now.
So is the reason for the name, so Media Waffle, is that got anything to do with your origin or?
Yeah, a little bit. I tend to waffle on a bit. My friends call me the waffle because I'm from Belgium and I do tend to waffle on. So I was like, I didn't think about it very long. I just went with it. I just went Media Waffle. Well, Waffle Media was actually taken and it would have cost me $5,000 to buy the domain. So I was like, I'll just mix it up.
Swap it around. So,
that's it.
How old were you when you first started Media Waffle?
So I'm 35 now. So it'd be around 28, somewhere around that, 29, somewhere around 28. Yeah.
Yeah, like late 20s. So what's the journey been like for you? So did you go full-time straight away and replace your income? What did it look like?
Yeah, no, it didn't look like that at all. I think starting out, obviously I was still working like part-time and just always have something cash flow in terms of actual income coming in. That was always probably good to have rather than, I don't know, just diving fully into it. Kind of went the safer route, but eventually, when you get your client base up, that's when I was, I'm probably looking at doing this full time and then, just transition to paying myself, but like a minimal wage at first. And then, I kept most of my profits somewhat in the business just to try and grow and learn and, just keep learning kind of thing as opposed to paying myself. But I hear, you always got to pay yourself something, right? So pay myself the minimal wage, but that's kind of like how it started.
It's a lot easier to pay yourself a minimal wage when, like, if you don't have as many responsibilities as well. So late 20s, you probably don't have kids. I don't know if you have kids now, but like as you get older, you get more responsibilities too.
Yeah, I think, once you start looking at buying a house and having a mortgage and things like that, you obviously can't be paying yourself minimal wage. I think that's just to kind of get you going, but also make sure that at the start, while you're still young and you don't have those commitments, probably invest in yourself. I think the biggest takeaway or if I go back in time, would be like invest more in yourself, invest in mentors, invest into people that have already done what you want to do or where you want to go. I think that's super crucial because you can learn from them. They've already experienced the ups and downs. They've already gone through the trials and tribulations. And I think if you can just put some money aside to get someone like that, that's already so much further than where you are, get their advice, it's the best investment you can make. You can invest into crypto or into the stock market or into whatever. It's never going to pay dividends like investing in yourself. So I think that's definitely something I wish maybe I did a little bit more, but I did do throughout the stages, and it's always paid off much more than any investment I could ever make, really.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, you go to uni, you're taught business, but you're not really taught business at uni in comparison. Like you're taught the theoretical side of it.
Yeah, and I think something else to keep in mind with that is like if you invest in yourself and, they give you courses or they give you things to do, part of that is actually implementing it. If you're looking for a quick fix to get rich quick or a system or something that plugs in and is just going to, generate you money, you're kind of delusional. You got to realize that, how many books are there on how to get rich? There's a million of them, right? So why aren't people just reading that and getting rich? I think it's the same with when you're investing in yourself. You really got to commit to taking action. We can sometimes get caught up with information or information overload where we're just consuming all this information, consuming all this motivational stuff, but really you're not taking action on any of it. I think if we just took more action on what we're learning, learn less, but take more action. I like this quote by Peter Voogd. He says that, you rather want to read one book than 50 books in a whole year, but actually implement that one book because you're going to get so much more out of it, right? So yeah, I kind of like that idea.
There's so many people that in their early days, they're like, let's go and get 5 different mentors or do 10 different programs. And it's just information overload. And it's all similar information, but it's conflicting at the same time. And you just get into analysis paralysis.
Yeah, 100%. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, and you don't end up implementing.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. And yeah, if I could give advice to anybody, it would be, if you don't know what you want to do yet, then get clarity around that, and then get a mentor for once you're more certain. But if you don't even know what you want to do yet, then you got to figure it out. You just got to sit down with yourself and ask yourself the hard questions and try. Like, so I was like, I don't know what my goal is. Sorry?
How did you work out what you want? Like, it's easy to say that. Yeah.
It is easy to say. It's always easier said than done. But I think sometimes you just got to get a piece of paper out and say, maybe a good place to start is not always about what we want. It's about we know what we don't want. So why don't you start writing down what you don't want? And then you can actually look at things that you do want more of. But yeah, I think all of us can start with that, at least knowing what we should do less of or what we want less of, right? And then make it.
And even what's important is $10 million important, or what type of lifestyle is important?
It's kind of hard to gauge that at first, because at first you're like, oh, I want to get to 6 figures, and you think that's like everything. But yeah, I mean, you'll always find out that money isn't the end goal. I think it's the process of it is what you got to enjoy, the process of becoming better or creating habits. I think creating habits is a big one. Rather than trying to get goals, like try to solidify some habits, whether they're like waking up earlier or planning your day the day before. Simple things, but things that you can track and measure. Sometimes the goals will take care of themselves if your habits are aligned. Atomic Habits is a good book for anybody.
Yes.
Trying to solve that.
I've got a saying: happiness isn't the destination; it's the whole damn ride. So many people think that they'll be happy once they get to the destination, but the destination is 6 foot under. So we've got to learn to be happy now and enjoy where we are today and tomorrow. And for me, it's to keep growing, kind of thing. Like, we just want challenges to take us to that next step.
Yeah, 100%. I feel that because we set ourselves a goal, or maybe it wasn't ambitious enough. You reach it, and then you just plateau and you decline. You're just like, you're complacent. That's exactly what happened to me. I set a goal, I reached it, and then I got super complacent and went back down.
Mm.
It was like, oh, it wasn't all it was meant to be. But I guess, yeah, you just gotta, I think when you're getting some success or you're getting some momentum, you gotta keep going. I think once you have the momentum and once you have the habits in place, it's so much easier to keep going and keep those good habits going. Whereas if you were to stop or something, or you go on holiday for a month and then try get back into that momentum, it's not going to be the same. And sometimes it takes much longer to rebuild that momentum. So yeah, I think for me personally, I've always had those moments of momentum. Then I got complacent, stagnant, then went back down, and then had to grind again to get back up to that moment. And yeah, just going through cycles of that. I feel like I've gone through many cycles of that. It's still ongoing, I'm still dealing with cycles of that, but I do know that once you get the momentum going and you get good habits and you get clear on what it is that you need to do, then yeah, you got to keep that momentum going and don't take it for granted.
Yeah. Can you tell me where's your business today? Like, you started as a freelancer part-time. Where is it today? What does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, I started it as a company straight away from the bat, but I was kind of doing more like contract work, kind of like by myself and things like that. Whereas I think nowadays it's more so a boutique agency where I've got some staff and some contractors where, I'm predominantly helping beauty clinics generate new leads and appointments for their clinics. So I've kind of niched down maybe 3 years now already. And I think it's been one of the best things where I now am focused on just providing more value to that niche, to those clients, as opposed to in the past where I might have been doing e-commerce as well as lead generation. And I think what happens then when you split your attention or, different business models, different industries, things like that. But if you really niche down, you can actually add so much more value to the people that you're serving. Your systems stay more or less the same. You don't have to change as much, and you can just focus really on how can we help this niche, or for me, beauty clinics, how can I help them more? How can I provide more resources, as opposed to, yeah, like back in the day, I was just doing everything, Yeah, so you spread yourself thin in trying to get the best results for everyone. So yeah, I think that's kind of the main difference from where we used to be to where we are now, and really dialing in on that.
What did that feel like when you made the decision to dial in on beauty clinics? Was it confronting? Were you like, yep, all in, let's do it?
Yeah, I have to say it's very hard. I think picking a niche was very hard. I think it was like pulling my hair out. And here's the truth that nobody wants to hear is every niche has its downside.
Oh yeah.
You can always look at someone else's industry and be like, maybe I should have done that. Trust me, in each niche is their own problems. So once you stick to a niche, just stick to it and go through it. But it's definitely challenging at first. With the beauty clinics in particular, they have lots of regulations and guidelines that they need to adhere to, especially with advertising. So I think that was a big one for me to crack and go through, which was tough at the start. But now that I've gone through that, I'm, much more confident. But yeah, I think picking a niche is really hard at first, but then you realize that, oh God, this is so much better that you can just focus on one thing and yeah, just double down on that. I think it gave me much more clarity, much more confidence than spreading myself thin on so many different businesses.
Yeah. How have you structured your team? Like, so what does it look like today?
Yeah, it's just a designer and then someone that runs the system. So I provide a lead acquisition system. So part of that is lead generation, which is your meta ads and, your email automations, SMS automations, making sure that leads stay warmed up and that they're kind of ready to book in once a client calls them, and data and metrics. So like being really clear on the KPIs, on the return on investment the client's going to get from the leads that we generate. So it's not just about leads, it's about booked appointments, but then it's about, are they actually showing up to their booked appointment? How much do they pay? Are they getting rebooked? finding out all those numbers, that's most important. So you can actually have confidence, or the client can have confidence in the marketing, and they can actually see the results. And then also part of that, what we're realizing as well is that when implementing new systems, you also need some training and guidance for their team, to be able to close and retain clients better. So it's not always just about, oh yeah, we'll just get them 100 leads, and all is good. It's like you also need to provide them with the tools to be able to, get them to come in. And that's why the training is also important. But yeah, like I still do majority of the strategy and the copywriting and things like that. But yeah, we also got like a designer and then someone that builds out the system, because these automations, they're all like quite complex as well, and you got to update them. So that's kind of like how our team is structured at the moment.
I imagine because of the way you've got it, like a lot of it is rinse and repeat almost. So you have to, I'm guessing you've got SOPs or procedures that you follow now?
Yeah, just working on systems. I think as well for me, and I probably still need to get better at this as well. Is like I probably, especially starting out, you're a business owner, but really you're an employee in your own business. And I think, like you say, if you don't have those systems and procedures, if someone can't do what you're doing, if you pass it off or if you plug yourself out of the business, will your business still run? And if the question is no, you just have a job within your own business. And I think that's something that I'm working on right now, is to, refine those systems so I can delegate and take more time for myself to focus on improving the service, and then, just helping more clinics out there.
So tell me about that process. So at the moment, you've still got a job for yourself.
Yeah.
Walk me through the process, how you're pulling yourself out, and how are you learning to do that?
Yeah. So step by step. So obviously it's systemizing the steps that I do. So either I've got to film myself doing something, film myself setting something up, or feel how I create a campaign, or film out that process or how I want it to look like, and then have like step by step kind of procedures on how to do that. I guess, one could be, let's say it's more, you got a video and you got some steps, whereas the other parts might be, it's very systemized from like onboarding point of view, where you could probably put it in like Monday, where you have project management board, using Monday at the moment to kind of just be like, okay, well, when this task is done, we can start on this task, and just have it very systematic. There's not much that changes in that. But then for other things that are maybe a bit more creative, or, they require maybe a little bit more explanation, you can shoot the video on it and then create the steps, and then feedback from the people implementing it to see whether it's actually, whether they get it.
You might understand it, but once you give it to your team, they might be like, he's speaking Dutch and I speak English.
How about you? How have you or put yourself in certain positions, or how have you systemized your business?
I love it. Like at the end of the day, the way I look at it is what happens on a weekly basis, what happens on a monthly basis, what happens on a quarterly basis. Oh, sorry, daily, weekly, monthly. So what are the tasks that I can get off my plate? I look at it to what's going to free up my time the most first. So like, is it going to free up 2 hours? Yeah, let's create a system and process for that. So document an SOP, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then record a video and then put it into and have all the tasks in Monday or ClickUp. But in an ideal world, you want to build automation around it as well, and AI if possible, because a lot of the repetitive tasks can be done by AI and automation now too.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been looking into some AI stuff as well. There's lots of exciting things happening there. There's still a lot of things that need to fall, that need to land and stick. But it's definitely something to, especially for agency owners like myself, I've got to stay on top of the trends so I can use it to, well, not just refine my own systems and make things go smoother or quicker, but also for the client as well. So yeah, just making sure stay up to date with that.
What sort of AI have you been playing with, or
I've just been using ChatGPT, the Pro, like just to the paid version. So you can have your custom GPTs. So for example, I'm working on one right now that's helps clients stay APRA and TGA compliant. So they could just put in there, is this compliant? Or if they're unsure about whether they can say this on the social media post or something, they could just plug it in there, and then it tells them, okay, this might not be the wording you want to use, or you can actually not say that, or you can't show that type of image.
So basically you've pulled the APRA guidelines, put it into the GPT, and then created an interface where people can question it effectively.
Yeah, but more so, I wish it was that simple.
I have oversimplified it, yeah.
Somewhat like that, but then, you still got to cross-reference everything. You've got to make sure you set the right systems prompt, and you got to make sure that it obviously doesn't hallucinate or spits anything out. At the end of the day, it is also a disclaimer. You can't. It's not legal advice. It's just giving them a guideline on what APRA is looking for, or the TGA guidelines. But yeah, it's just things like that could obviously save them time or hassle, or they're worried about their copy on their website. They could just pop it in there and then check it out.
That's it. Yeah, I like it. So now, has there ever been a time over the last 8 years where you've been like, nah, I'm over it, or cash flow's been an issue, or you've been working 80 hours and you've been, nah, don't want to do it anymore?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely hit that at some point. I don't remember when it was, but it was a couple of years ago. I think once I started to niche down, I think I got my spark back. I was like, at one point I was just getting a bit burnt out, and I think it was probably information overload, where like there was just too much to take in. Whereas once I niched down, all that noise kind of quieted down, and I could move forward with confidence. But I definitely hit that where I was like, fuck, maybe don't want to do this anymore. But sorry, I was swearing.
All good, man. Good. Don't worry about that.
But yeah, so I think it was more of, understanding that, niching down really would save a lot of capacity, trying to point things in the right direction. I think when you have too many things going on, it gives a bit of cloud fog in your brain and you don't know what to focus on. But now I know exactly what I need to focus on, and that gives me confidence. But to answer your question, yes, I have hit a wall before.
Yeah, I think we all have. So I want to touch on, you've talked a lot about mentors and education and learning. What do you do currently? Is it an ongoing thing, a once off? How do you play with that?
Currently, I've got like a yearly program where I'm in a program for a year that helps me structure my agency and do the right things to grow my agency. And that's been very helpful. And I've only been doing that for maybe three months or so. But yeah, that investment has definitely paid itself. So yeah, I think in the past I've had sales mentors or that helped me, get a bit more confident with sales and things like that. That have helped me through that. And that has really been helpful. I think having the accountability as well is really good. But yeah, I think right now what I looked at was more, what do I really need right now? And I've got my agency. I need someone that has built and scaled an agency to just give me a bit more direction. And I think that's what I went for. And I went for someone local in Australia, so I don't have to wake up at 2 a.m. to get their calls. And, and I work with Australian clinics, and, it just makes more sense to work with someone that's in the area. You don't always need, the guru from the USA. You just need someone that has got a proven track record, that is where you want to be and that has done it.
Yeah.
Someone that talks about it, someone that's done it and is living it. And I think those are your best people. Those are your best friends. And they're as long as they got the best for you, or they want to see the best for you, then you're in the right place.
That's it. Looking back over your last 5-6 years, what would you, if there's one thing you could have done differently, what would that have been?
Probably invest in a mentor earlier. That's exactly aligned, not just like a random mentor of like mindset, or it's got to be like very precise to the business that you're for entrepreneurs anyway. that's got to be very precise to the business that you're running or the particular problem you're having in your business right now. So if your business is running fine, but your sales isn't, then you got to get a mentor for that. But get then someone that's been in that business and does sales in that business and has done it and has got a track record in it. There is someone out there for I would say there's a business mentor for anywhere, right? But you got to find someone that's gotten a track record. So if I could go back in time, I could be like, go find them. They're there. They are out there, and invest early, because that investment will compound over a very long time.
Awesome. Now, 3 years into the future, what's the industry going to look like?
It's going to be a lot of AI stuff. There's going to be a lot of AI generated content. I think maybe that's where, because people are going to expect all that type of content. I think they want to see a lot more from the owners. I think it's going to be a lot more brand focused, where like, how do you separate yourself if everyone's creating the same, nice looking images, the same nice looking ads? I think it's going to come down to, who's the owner? Like, do you like Elon Musk or do you not like him? Do you like Alex Hermosi? Do you like, Gary Vaynerchuk? Like, it's really going to depend on the branding. Yes, a lot of it's going to get automated. Lots of jobs are going to become redundant, but new jobs will open up. And yeah, you just got to focus on, having a brand, a presence.
That's it. Yeah, you're right. Because AI is just going to make everything generic. So people want to go back to old school and engage with how we were previously.
Yeah, like 92% will be AI, but then 8% will be, your creative genius, or your personality. You gotta utilize the AI kind of like we utilize our phone. It's part of us now. It's like we're part cyborg. Can't go to the toilet without your phone. So
exactly,
basically part cyborg, but now we're going to be even more cyborg. But yeah, utilize it. Get ahead of the trends, but also realize there's lots of this stuff is still quite new. So lots of tools and things like that are still going to have to land, where it's like, okay, we can use this tool and that's going to be something predictable to use in the future. But right now there's so much stuff coming left, right and center. You don't even know. It's moving so fast. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, agree. Maxim, it's been a pleasure talking. If people want to get in touch, what's the best way to connect?
Yeah, just contact me on maxim@mediawaffle.com. And yeah, that's probably the best way to do it.
Well, thank you very much, mate. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning into The Growth Equation. If you've enjoyed the show, hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It helps us big time. Catch you next time. And if you want more, head over to evolvetogrow.com.au for show notes and exclusive content.